This is Mikey.
And I'm Garrison Rifen. This is Cinema Debrief. Welcome to Cinema Debrief. I'm Garrison Rifen, over here with my co-host Mikey. How you doing tonight, Mikey?
What is up, Garrison? We are now living in a world that Timothée Chalamet has won an NBA championship. I am so excited. Oh, let me check my notes. I mean the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
It's
lifelong
great.
team. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, he grew up in the Bronx, I think, or Brooklyn,
Mhm.
or one of those areas. He grew up over there. So he's legit, even though he's got like a weird name. He's like a French Canadian name or whatever.
Yeah.
But
he's there's like a tweet from like 2010 where he won like a Knicks contest.
Yeah.
So
he's
a real Knicks fan.
He is a real Knicks fan. I'm very excited. I am not a huge NBA fan, but for some reason I was kind of wrapped up into this finals. Like I really enjoyed Game 4. Or maybe I'm sorry, Game 4 I really enjoyed because of the ridiculous comeback. Like the 20, they were down 26 and came back, and then
they were down big last night.
16, they were down 16, yeah. And I like this Jalen Brunson kid. He's like really seems like a good person. And his interviews are good, and so I don't know. I got kind of wrapped up into it where like maybe I want to like start watching basketball again because I did grow up on the West Coast. I grew up in Oregon, and I was a Portland Trailblazers fan. Like when Clyde Drexler was there, Clyde the Glide went to a couple of those games while we lived there. So, I mean, there was a time where I was a basketball fan, but I don't know. The current era of basketball generally bothers me, mostly because LeBron James is a diva and everything that he does just seems antithetical to somebody who is supposed to be a role model. Whereas Brunson, and it even goes down to little details where Brunson was willing to take a pay cut so he could bring different people onto the team. Whereas LeBron in the offseason is like, you better pay me max contract. And so it's just like a different mindset. So I don't know. I'm just jazzed that the Knicks won. And I know that has nothing to do with movies other than Timothée Chalamet, but anyways.
Yeah, there were a lot of celebrities there. I like the Knicks team. I don't love there's been a lot of bandwagoning this past.
Oh, well, of course. Yes.
Few weeks and But I'm not talking about in the stadium. I'm talking about just regular people on social media. Like,
right.
You don't care about
totally.
the Knicks.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and their fan base is obnoxious, but every team's fan base can be obnoxious in different ways. There's just, it is what it is. But the team itself, I like that squad of people. And it was fun to watch all the celebrities get super excited that we're there. Spike Lee, who I know has been waiting for a championship for 53 years. So, I mean, it's been a long road.
Yeah. Him and Ben Stiller. Yeah.
Ben Stiller, who's apparently making a documentary, why he has his iPhone out all the time, because he's actually filming a documentary. So it's good stuff. I'm into it. I'm into all of it. So,
yeah. Exciting times in the sports world, but I'm not a big soccer guy, but I know you like watching the World Cup.
I've enjoyed that too. I don't know. I just kind of have like sports fever right now, of sports that I usually don't pay much attention to. And I won't get to watch the game on Friday because I'll be sitting in my favorite place, which is a theater, watching Toy Story 5. So because the banks, as you know, are closed on Friday. So I'm going to take advantage of that and go see a movie with my family. And I'm very much looking forward to that movie. The out of theater reactions to some of the guys I follow on YouTube has been really positive. I haven't heard one negative thing about that movie. So I am jazzed, except for the stupid people that are like, there didn't need to be Toy Story 4, and there doesn't need to be Toy Story 5. Quentin Tarantino, I'm looking at you. But I don't know. I mean, I'm jazzed for it. It just seems like they found a good story to tell.
I like the story idea.
Yeah.
The tech versus toys, which is a real thing nowadays. So.
Totally is a real thing. I deal with it every day with my kids. So, I mean, yeah, it is a very real thing. Heck, I mean, I kind of deal with it with myself. I mean, I've had to learn to put my phone like across the room, lock it up while I'm watching movies, so I'm not distracted by it when I'm at home. So
yeah, I get it. I put mine on the charger just to kind of get it out of the way. But no, I totally get it. Do you want to talk about your off the shelf pick this week?
Man, do I ever. Interesting off the shelf pick. You know, obviously I'm going in complete order of Laserdisc, Criterion, and then we'll dive into DVDs. You know, one thing of note that I didn't misspeak necessarily, but at the time of the Laserdisc pressing, the only cut that was available of The King of Kings was the 112-minute cut. Now, come to find out, years later, when they did the DVD pressing of it for Criterion, they had found the 155-minute Roadshow edition. So that is available if you've got the DVD. I don't think they ever did a Blu-ray of it, but the Criterion DVD does apparently have the 155-minute Roadshow version. Yeah. So the only version that I had available to me by choice was the Laserdisc. I could have watched the Criterion Channels version, but I was honoring the fact that I'm supposed to be watching it on physical media. And so I watched the 112-minute version. Now, this is obviously Cecil B. DeMille's The King of Kings. There was another one in the 60s that he was not involved with, but it's, I mean, the story of the death and resurrection of Christ. So it doesn't necessarily start from when he's a child. I mean, you sort of go almost like media res. Here he is as an adult. Here's what's happened. You know, here's what's happening. There's a large focus on Judas's betrayal. That's a big part of the story, obviously. This is a silent film in the sense that you're having to read as the characters are speaking, and there's a kind of a lovely score behind it. At least in the version that I watched. Which version did you end up watching, Garrison?
So on the Criterion channel, there's 3 versions, which is very interesting. Okay. So there's the 155-minute quote unquote, but it's 2 hours 37 with everything. I'm sure there's like a thing at the beginning that kind of takes up some of that time. And then there's 2 versions of the 112-minute cut. And I don't think there's a difference in footage, but one is the Hugo Reisenfeld score, which is the score that played when the movie was released and shown wide. And there is the Timothy J. Ticker score, which was recorded in 2004 for a re-release.
So obviously I watched the one with the earlier then.
I watched the 112-minute Hugo Reisenfeld one because I knew that was probably the one you had watched.
Yeah, that's was on the Laserdisc. So
and it was the one that people saw the most when it went wide at the time. Well, not wide like you would talk about today, but when it was shown.
When it was shown
back in the 20s. Yeah.
Now, obviously, I didn't necessarily recognize any of these actors. I mean, I've seen some films from the 20s, but I mean, not enough to where I recognized any of these people. H.B. Warner played Jesus. He was a guy that I'm trying to see like what his most famous role is. He's been in a ton of movies. He was in Sunset Boulevard. He was in It's a Wonderful Life. He was in Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. So I mean, he was in the 10 Commandments, but so was everybody else.
He's much older in those films, I think.
Yeah, had to have been much older. Because he was born in 1876.
Yeah.
He died in 1958 at the age of 82. I thought he was a striking gentleman. He looked good as Jesus. Like they got a pretty attractive person to play Jesus.
Takes like 15 or 16 minutes to actually reveal what he looks like, right?
Right.
I mean, they spend a while kind of, and he's talking to the kid about, the blind kid's coming up to him, and he's talking to him, and then it finally reveals.
Yeah, which I liked.
Once the kid opens up his eyes.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was a good touch. There's a couple things that I really liked that DeMille did with this. I mean, the most striking scenes to me throughout the film was probably the earthquake scene, just because it's kind of baffling in 1927 to think that they had not necessarily the technology, but just the ability to recreate like an earthquake, and it looked kind of good. I mean, it looked like a really cool scene. I mean, DeMille obviously known for his epic films, like and being able to pull things like that off. I think when Judas, spoiler alert, when Judas hangs himself, That was a really striking scene, just because, and this is obviously in black and white, but just the way that the colors were used in that, it was lit really well, and it was just a really dramatic looking scene. And I thought that this was a great way to tell the story. I was talking with Dr. Earl a little bit this morning at church. He watched it as well, and just the thing that I also enjoyed is they were using not like completely all the time, but they were using actual Bible verses for when Jesus spoke. For the most part, not every single line of his dialogue, but for the most part, he was just basically saying Bible verses, and as they were telling the story, which is very different. Like, obviously, if you've seen Passion of the Christ, they don't necessarily just stick to Bible verses the whole time. There's like a screenplay that they're using, and it's not just Bible verses. Whereas this feels like more authentic to, the story if they're using Bible verses.
Yeah.
I thought that Mary seemed a bit too, like, and Earl said this, Hollywood flappery, like they made her look sad, but that was the 20s. I mean, that's kind of what, like, every actress that was in any movie in the 20s was kind of made up to look that way. And I think a lot of it has to probably do with just the color contrast. Like, they probably cake a bunch of makeup on them, and so they see them really well in black and white. It was just kind of like the technology that they were dealing with at the time. And so it was interesting. I thought that one of the evil priests or whatever, he looked very 20s villainish, again, because of just the way they made him up. He had like a striking beard, but sort of pointed a little bit, and so just certain choices with makeup that they generally did in the 20s just let you know, oh, hey, this is the villain. I mean, obviously, if you know the story, he's the villain, but still, the way they made him look was quite villainous. Sort of like twirly mustache looking type of guy. So I don't know. I thought it was really a great rendition of this story. I am kind of interested in watching the one from the 60s just to see what they do differently. But I mean, overall, I really enjoyed it. I don't know that I want to watch the Roadshow version. I think this 121-minute version was well told, well edited.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what is in, and I didn't do the research of what more is in that 155-minute version. Or
I didn't either, and I thought about that. I mean, it's like over 40 minutes of extra footage though, which is just, I thought they did a good enough job with the 112 minutes. I totally agree with you. One of my favorite things, and I know you mentioned this, was the intertitles being when it was a Bible verse, they would put it in the bottom right corner. Yeah, it was a Bible verse, and if it wasn't, it wasn't. But I liked that they were using real quotes from the Bible, that kind of thing. That was cool. I agree. The technology for the time looks really good. This is almost 100-year-old movie.
It's so crazy, and it looked great. I mean, even on Laserdisc, it looks good.
Yeah, and this is kind of in the infancy of sound is about to come, but it hadn't really hit. Yeah, I think the Jazz Singer came out the same year. As this. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just starting to hit Hollywood, and you can see it in the acting because it's the exaggerated sound, silent film acting.
Yep.
And I love seeing that stuff. It makes you wonder, kind of like watching Singing in the Rain, how many of those people continue through Hollywood. I know obviously Jesus did, because he continued to play parts.
That guy was H.B. Warner. He was in a ton of movies.
Yeah, but some of those people obviously they did not transition to the talkie well. And you said there was one in the 60s. I did not know that.
Yeah, not directed by Cecil B. DeMille, but I mean there is another one in the 60s. Yeah,
I wondered because he did remake 10 Commandments. He had done a silent, and then he did the talkie. With Charlton Heston.
Yeah. The one that most people know is obviously the one with Charlton Heston.
Yeah, the remake.
That's interesting.
But it was his own remake, so
I was trying to see Dorothy Cumming, because I kind of do recognize that name a little bit. I'm just trying to see if she ever won any awards or anything, and not really. But she also, and that's the thing with these actors from the 20s, they're just in a ton of films. Like they're just always working. She let's see, nothing that I necessarily recognize that she was in. So not necessarily as famous as perhaps the guy that played Jesus, but she was in a lot of movies, and she was from Australia, which is interesting. So she was in, the first movie she made, she was in Snow White from 1916. She played Queen Bragomar. Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. So she was in a lot of stuff too. I mean, she died younger though, it looks like. She died. No, she lived till she was 89. So she stopped working at some point, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I you saw a lot of that too with early actors. It wasn't just the transition of the talkie, though. I think it did hurt some people.
Right, which we see that a little bit in Babylon, right? I mean, that's kind of the story they're telling in Babylon.
Yeah, but I mean, and you see it still today. I mean, it's not a career that always lasts your whole life. You know, it's not always a long-term career for everybody.
Yeah.
And sometimes you age out of being the person that people cast. Unfortunately, that does happen.
It does seem to happen, like you mentioned. Unfortunately, it does seem to happen more for like women than men. I mean, men absolutely. Just like continue working forever. Like
men have a tougher time, and this is my opinion. Men have a tougher time getting immediate recognition when they're younger, but they have more longevity.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true. I think that's an accurate statement. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I really am glad that I watched this. It's just one of those movies. There's not too much to say about it, just because obviously it's the story that's in the Bible. Yeah. I mean, so there's no differences that they have. It's straight up story of the Bible in the Bible.
I saw King of Kings in 2025, the Angel release.
Oh, the animated one, right?
You know, the one that they bought from the Korean director, whatever his name is.
Now, was that the one though that they had part of it like? Charles Dickens.
Yeah, it was Charles Dickens telling the story of Jesus to his kids.
That's interesting.
And so there are actually scenes, obviously, that it's based on the same source material.
Based on the same source material.
There are scenes that are eerily accurate, you know, similar here and there, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed that movie. Okay, I enjoyed this one. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not like the best version of the story. I think from a modern telling of it, Passion of the Christ at least tells part of the story very well. But it's certainly dramatized in a way that I'm guessing Mel Gibson knew would evoke emotion. Whereas this, I think, was just straight up trying to tell the story as it's laid out in the Bible, not necessarily trying to... Obviously, it's going to evoke emotion in a natural way just because of the story, but there wasn't anything that Cecil B. DeMille did where he's trying to bait the audience into feeling a certain way. Whereas I think Passion of the Christ does a little bit of that. And I guess we're hearing that Resurrection of the Christ is going to be 2 parts. So I have no idea what Mel Gibson is going to be doing with that story.
I don't know.
Seems weirdly odd to me, but
he recast Jesus too, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Just because I think Caviezel.
Yeah, I think
he's older. Too old now, maybe.
I think he may have dropped, but
I'm not sure
honestly,
exactly.
He is older. I don't know that. I think he might need to recast.
I think that it was a wise choice to recast, but I don't like this thing of it being 2 parts. I don't know what he's doing. It makes me a little bit nervous about all of that. I mean, but yeah.
The epic event pre-Easter and post-Easter. There you go.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I don't know. I don't know. Look, I think this was a great version of the story. I do happen to have. It's not a Criterion film, but I do have the 1960s version on Laserdisc as well. The collection that I inherited in a way has a lot of religious films in it, and so there's also like the story of John. I mean, there's all these interesting films that I didn't know existed that I will eventually get to, but they're not Criterion. So I'm trying to get through my Criterion collection. Maybe in like 5 years, when I'm through with all my boutiques, I can finally start getting into the films that are not boutiques that I haven't seen, because I do have a lot of those as well in my collection, like Blu-ray.
Well,
DVDs,
I was going to say,
like that.
The DVD for this is out of print on Criterion.
Ooh.
Now, there is a Blu-ray from Flicker Alley, which I believe has at least the 155-minute cut. It may have both.
So is that a Flicker Alley? Is that a foreign boutique?
No, it's a U.S. U.S. boutique, but you haven't heard of them really unless you are trying to find like really old, obscure stuff usually. I mean, like they'll have Sherlock Holmes collections of like Basil Rathbone stuff that, nobody's really heard of necessarily.
Do they do any restoration on their own, or are they just distributing?
That's a great question. I've never bought a Flicker Alley.
Yeah, I've never even heard of one.
Do minimal. I think they do minimal restoration.
Well, that would be interesting to see what type, if they did any, and I'll look it up and research it, what type of research or what type of restoration they may have done on the film. Look, because it is, like you said, it's over 100 years old almost. I mean, so there's
you have to be careful. A lot of that stuff's shot on nitrate, especially back in the day, and that stuff is really easily flammable. And then obviously the film will warp if it's not kept in cold storage. And there's all kinds of things that you have to be really careful about with that. I mean, the film could be too brittle if it's not kept in certain conditions. It's,
Yeah, and I do wonder, like, once it finally gets on a Laserdisc or a DVD, like, if they're keeping the film what am I trying to say?
I think by the 90s preserved. Yeah. I think by the 90s that they were more aware of that stuff at that point. I mean, there's that story of Lucas messing with the negative in 97 because it was in such bad shape.
Right.
But my understanding is the negative's in great shape now. And that was the 90s. So I don't know. The Criterion Laserdisc line though it's a really important touchstone for physical media.
It big time is, yeah.
And it was the thing that introduced Criterion to the world, but it was also the thing that introduced the commentary track to the world, because Criterion invented that for one of their first Laserdiscs. So I love that we're going down that path. We're kind of covering we've covered 4Ks, Blu-rays, and now we're getting to Laserdiscs.
Now, and this particular Laserdisc did not have any extras on it. It was just simply the film on just one disc. It was an A side and a B side, so I did have to flip it.
I was going to say, do you have to flip it?
I did have to flip it at some point. Some of the Criterion that I've got are like 4 laser discs, and so it's probably the film, maybe an A, B, and the C side with extras on the D side, maybe. I don't know. So the extras definitely will come into play at some point. I'm just crossing my fingers that my Laserdisc player survives, just because it's just one of those things where with that technology, you never know when those things are just going to burn out and die.
Yeah, and you're not an expert who's going to go in and solder and
do. Nope. I would have absolutely no idea. In fact, I was afraid
probably be cheaper for you to buy a new one.
Probably. Well, this one was essentially given to me. It was the same. It was that guy's collection. I mean, I said, I paid him for it, but it wasn't really as much as all that stuff was probably worth. So he did give me a great deal on the player as well as his collection. And I've in fact bought laser discs outside of his collection, even weird stuff like Japanese laser disc. Like I bought the episode 1 Japanese laser disc.
Does that have the original cut?
Yes.
That's on the laps, the amount of laps that are in the pod
exactly.
race.
That's the only way apparently that you can get that for right now. I don't know if that's
there are digital 35 millimeter prints.
Exactly. You can get digitally, but I guess on physical, maybe. I guess.
Yeah.
And then I bought. What did I buy? Also, Cannonball Run 3, which is what they called it in Japan. In the United States, they called it like Speed Zone or something. But it is considered a trilogy. It's considered Cannonball Run 3, which I haven't. I'm
opened. Not familiar with that.
It's unopened, so I haven't had the itch to open it just yet, because sometimes I like to leave things sealed when I can.
Not to go too far down this rabbit hole, but as a big Jackie Chan fan, Laserdisc used to be like the source for a bunch of the original Hong Kong cuts of his films. That did not come out over here. And people would take that and put it online in like Usenet groups or whatever, and news groups, and puts their own subtitles on top of it.
I bet some of those are super expensive, like those old Jackie Chan laser discs. That's what's weird about the format is sometimes they're like certain titles are just, regular price. and other ones they're just jacked up so high on Whatnot, especially. I mean, it just you got to be careful with some of that because they can't get expensive.
Yes, you do, Mikey.
Oh gosh, I've got to stop. I took like almost a year-long break from it.
And but if Whatnot wants to sponsor us, that's okay.
Well, yeah, if they want to sponsor us, but of course. But no, I'm back on there. I'm not. I would say I'm not going as hard as I did before, just because I'm completely out of room, and really can't add too much more to my collection in general. But lately, I've been finding really good sales at Barnes and Noble. If you look online and you're a Barnes and Noble premium member like I am, you can get pretty good deals on stuff. But that's a complete aside. But yes, The King of Kings from 1927, highly recommend, worth a watch. But you can watch it digitally on online, Criterion Channel, HBO Max, that type of thing.
I am going to recommend next week that we do House of Games from 1987.
Oh, nice. I have never seen it.
Criterion film by David Mamet.
Yeah.
I have never seen this movie either.
I've watched that for years.
And it is on Prime.
Oh, cool. It up.
Okay. So we are able to stream it. The audience is able to stream it.
That's interesting that a Criterion is on Prime and not HBO Max.
Well, I mean, it's Janus doesn't own the rights. It's MGM, so that's why.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then. That's awesome. Yep. I have been wanting. That's just one of those titles that I knew existed because I love David Mamet stuff, but I have never had taken the time to watch that. So I'm excited. That is supposedly a really good movie.
I've heard that too. Yeah, I love Mamet stuff. I mean, I'm a big Mamet mark.
Who's the star of that?
Is
it Jeremy Irons?
Of it no. Let's see. I'm sorry, they don't have them listed here. One sec.
Yeah, for some reason I thought Jeremy Irons, but I could be way off on that. I'm thinking there's a movie that he's in that says House of something.
Joe Mantegna.
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
Lindsay Krause.
Okay, yeah.
And William H. Macy's in it.
Of course. That's awesome. That's cool.
There's some bad guys in the cast too.
Oh, JT Walsh. Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
I love JT Walsh. And Ricky Jay, of course. Ricky Jay is almost in every Mamet movie because he's like and he's in a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson films as well. He's like a card guy, card tricks. He does like really cool card tricks. He's like a kind of a magician, but mostly just using cards. Meshach Taylor is in this as well. Oh wow, interesting cast. Okay,
yeah, cool. Ricky Jay he was in Spanish Prisoner. I love Spanish Prisoner. That's
a good with Steve Martin. Yep, that's a very not Steve Martin movie. Like that is the farthest from Steve Martin movie that you'll ever get.
I love Steve Martin. I love Steve Martin movies, but I also kind of love that he went against type on that one.
Totally against type. I mean, like like LA Story. And he kind of is against type, although there is a bit of comedy in that. But
there's a lot of comedy in LA Story,
but not like this. Not like this is not. Yeah, this is
LA Idiot. Near. He goes to the restaurant in LA Story.
Right. Yes. I love LA Story. That's a great movie.
I do too. It's a great movie. Speaking of religious movies, let's get into Disclosure Day.
Religious movies.
It's kind of an aspect of it.
You know what's hilarious is my pastor this morning decided to bring up that headline of Spielberg saying that this is going to make Christians change their mind on everything. Which
I don't know why he said that. What a weird a little bit of a spoiler alert here. I'm just going to go ahead and say it because it makes no sense with the film because the film just says like it has a nun just be like, no, it's fine if aliens exist. It's not going to crush our religion.
I think it's just a lack of understanding of what Christianity is, perhaps from Stephen's standpoint. Maybe. I mean, I don't. You would think that an 80-year-old man would understand the concept of Christianity, but no, it's silly to even. It made me wonder if he was misquoted or if I mean I just don't I don't understand
into it.
I don't understand the quote at all, but of course my pastor being a person that likes to find ways to bring up when the media might say something against Christianity, he decided to use that headline, which I don't know. I mean this movie, I'm having a really hard time with the film because Steven Spielberg is still the GOAT to me. Like, he is still fantastic. I still think that he is a very good director.
The technical aspects of the film are fantastic.
Dude, there was a couple oneers that were awesome.
Fantastic shots, some great blocking. There's a specific oneer around the fence that I know some people have found goofy. Yep. I loved that shot.
I thought it was awesome.
Nobody does
the
that.
Car. No, nobody does it anymore. It's classic filmmaking.
Yeah.
I mean, no one does that type of thing anymore, and it looked great. Technically speaking, perfectly fine. I don't even know like who to necessarily blame the script on. David Koepp and Steven worked really closely with him. So even though David Koepp's name is as the screenwriter, it's my understanding that they went through like 42 drafts.
Yeah, 42 or 3,
Yes, some ridiculous number, which not necessarily uncommon, but
well, and what is a draft? Did you remove 5 pages and build another 5? You know,
totally, exactly. I thought the first 2 acts were good. They were like action packed, and then it just completely for me fell apart in the 3rd act. Like
it's weird. I really wanted to love this movie, and I
wanted to love it because I want to love every movie I go see. But you know,
but the beginning is intriguing.
Yeah.
And then to me, it really loses me a little bit. It doesn't lose me in the middle, but I'm just kind of like wavering here, like, all right, where are we going with all this?
Right.
And then you get to the end, and that's when I'm just like, okay, I just don't care.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
I don't care about these characters.
And that's not what you want. You don't want to be completely complacent by the 3rd act. That's not what you want.
I appreciate some of the message, some of it, in terms of, you know, what would happen if aliens come. We're so, you know, we're in all these different conflicts. Would we actually, you know, pay attention and listen, or are we just going to continue to fight? And, you know, I understand the thinking towards that kind of thing.
Sure.
I just did not care for. I mean, that whole. People have been praising the news anchor actress. I think she did a good job, but at the same time, I just don't believe her performance either because it's just so goofy.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
I don't know.
I did think that Emily did some really good work in this. I think that she probably knew the assignment as far as what emotions to convey when, and I feel like she did a great job where I wouldn't be upset if she got an Oscar nomination of it, but it would be a make good in a way.
Yeah.
Like, here's your Oscar for the career type of situation.
Yeah. I liked Emily Blunt. She's the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
And that's by design. I mean, the script kind of makes her the best part of the movie, but also she gives a good performance.
No, she totally does. I like Josh O'Connor too. I mean, he's okay. I mean, he's not.
I think you need a differently written and also differently acted lead male in this film. Okay. I just didn't care.
Yeah. And it's hard to talk because we don't necessarily want to spoil it because it just came out.
Playing like a dour, low key, down to earth guy. He's not very expressive. He's not very funny. You know, and this is supposed to be a summer blockbuster. I'm not saying you have to hit all those notes, but I don't know. He just doesn't have the charisma that I would want from that role.
I thought Eve Hewson was good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's her name, right? Eve Hewson. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
I think that she also, I think she portrayed the character in a way that you sort of were rooting for her more than any of the other characters, I think, just because she was kind of, if you think about it, she was kind of like our point of view because she was not in the world.
Yes, she is the point of view character.
Yeah.
I thought, and we can disagree on this if you feel like it.
Okay,
but I liked Wyatt Russell's point of view character a little bit more. Okay. And I was really sad that we lost him for the rest of the film.
Yeah, he wasn't in it enough to really. He was the skeptic. He would be like.
We needed a skeptic,
right? He wasn't utilized enough. I don't.
Eve just kind of went along with it and was like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah. Although, I mean, there was a point where well, I don't want to spoil anything. But I mean,
well, there was a point where she wanted to not do something.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Where they get into kind of a philosophical argument, but I don't know.
I think like Spielberg really meant well with what he was trying to do with this movie.
Yeah.
But he must be in a position, and obviously he probably is, where he is surrounded by a lot of yes men that would not necessarily be critical of the way that the story was laid out.
Yeah.
Just because it just loses such steam at a point, at least in my opinion, where, like you mentioned, you just stop like kind of caring what's going on.
Yeah.
And
it may be too long as well. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
It's hard. Yeah. And again, we're getting into that conversation.
And the third act may be the whole news scene may be just too long.
Right. Yeah. There was a lot of stuff that was just interesting choices. I saw I can't remember who said it, but on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, somebody was like, there is zero chance that there would be that many people in a local newsroom.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's Kansas City, but yeah.
But still, a lot. Yeah, there was like 50 people. I mean, it was like a ton of people. So it's just like, there's just weird things that you would have thought that someone would have been like, hey, I used to work in local news. This is not accurate. So,
what I need is for our Kansas listeners.
Right. Do we have any? Yeah, or somebody that has worked in local news be like,
we got a Chiefs fan in the Discord.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We do, don't we? Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know if he's ever worked in local news.
Well, I mean, but he could tell us if this was accurate to Kansas in terms of geography.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. That's true. What did you think about Colin Firth?
I enjoyed Colin Firth. He's a little cartoonishly over the top, but at the same time, I understood his arc at the end, where he's so spent. We see him just struggling, and by the end, he knows that there's nothing he can do to stop it. So, sorry, that's a little bit of a spoiler, but not a huge one.
Obviously, no. And I think he had the most complete character arc, in all honesty.
Yeah, I agree.
Coleman Domingo, maybe there was a lot of.
There to be the polar opposite.
Yes, he's there to be the polar opposite, but we also know where his character is coming from just because of his background as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't necessarily want to spoil anything about the character's background, but as the film progresses, you find out, oh, this is what he was doing. This is why he is at this point. And so, yeah, he was there, like you said, to be the polar opposite of Colin Firth's character. And, I don't know. So some of it was a bit far-fetched, and I understand that. Yes, we're talking about UAP stuff, and whether you believe, there's some people that like believe that to their core, that there is UAP extraterrestrial activity. And I think oftentimes, and I'm not necessarily making a blanket statement, but those are just people that are afraid to fully give themselves into perhaps a religion of some type, and so they use that as their religion, hoping that there is something out there other than themselves. And it's hard to buy some of the stuff that they were trying to feed us in this movie, but I'm also not in that world. Like, I'm not in that UAP world, so I don't know if this is an accurate portrayal of how those people that believe that stuff would react.
I kind of agree with the nun in this is my personal belief on this, that why would God create the universe if there wasn't some life out there somewhere? But I do not believe that intelligent life has visited us. That's my personal feeling on it. But it's I
much more believe in angels and demons versus being, that type of thing than that. As far as like what people think that there's
going to be something somewhere.
They would never be able to.
You got to feel like some chance of it, but
they wouldn't be there. There's no they wouldn't be able to ever get here. So like
no, exactly, no, too far away.
Yeah, too far away. They're like, even if there is, we'd never see it.
You gonna fold galaxies or what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anyways,
not to get too far down that rabbit hole, but
it's one of those things where like I was disappointed because I wanted to have that. I think I mentioned this in my Letterboxd review, that I wanted that twinkle in the eye moment that Spielberg is so well known for. Just like you have that just rush of emotion that, like you get, goosebumps, you're watching something special, and he's delivered movies like that in the past. And I just felt kind of empty after this was over because of my disappointment in it. I mean, like you said, from a technical aspect, the film is great. I really think that he did some great things camera wise. It's just the story in and of itself just fell flat for me.
Well, I think that's maybe the most disappointing part, because I think if this was just a totally garbage movie in every way, then you could just move on from it. But at 79 years old, he's creating a really interesting looking film, doing some really cool stuff with the camera.
Yeah.
And then the story is not living up to that at all.
Yeah. And that's half the battle, really. I mean, like, look, the being able to convey the story. And, looking back at his last, and I don't have them pulled up, and I don't feel like necessarily need to pull it up, like the last 10 films that he's made.
Fabelmans
was good.
Yeah.
I liked Fabelmans a lot.
West Side Story.
West Side Story. Nobody else liked it, or nobody went and saw it.
Yeah, nobody saw it.
I think the people that have seen that movie can understand how great it is.
It's actually really good, but
it's like a really great movie. But within that, like Ready Player One, like an empty feeling movie. I mean,
here's the thing about West Side Story: the story's built for him.
Sure.
So that part of the battle's, pretty much done.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just got to do interesting stuff with it.
And he did.
Ready Player One, he took a book that was all about Spielberg. A lot of it was like Spielberg nostalgia, removed a bunch of the Spielberg nostalgia from the movie.
Yeah.
Which I can understand not wanting to do that as the guy who is Spielberg.
That was one that I wish somebody would have said, "Hey, don't try and do this movie." That's such a hard book to adapt. And just because of, not necessarily like it's some Pulitzer Prize winning type of book, but still there's just so much going on with all the references and everything that is essential to the way that the book is written, that is really hard to adapt that to screen. And I liked things in Ready Player One. Like Ben Mendelsohn, I thought was having a ton of fun in that movie. I thought he was pretty fun in it, but it's just so hard to adapt that book. I mean, maybe it didn't need to be done. I don't know. I'm not sure. But back to Disclosure Day. It's just one of those things where we're in such an interesting time that I don't think anybody anticipated 2026 being kind of a break the industry type of year. Just with the success that mostly Obsession is having. I understand Backrooms is wrapped into that, but Obsession is having a never before seen type of, I mean, its most recent feat is beating Blair Witch. I mean, as far as, low budget film.
Well, it's funny because people will be like, "Oh, well, but if you adjust Blair Witch for inflation," it's like, but you also have to adjust the budget for inflation first off.
Exactly. I hate that just inflation crap. It makes me so mad.
Blair Witch is on the lower end still, so it would still be probably just below it, but
probably.
It just the thing about inflation, first off, worldwide totals you can't inflate by one number. Because every country has different levels of inflation.
There's too many variables, and so it's a dumb thing to say.
But then you're like, are you taking into account the budget? And it's
exactly.
all silly, but
and so, I mean, it's almost the same thing that's happening to Masters of the Universe. Like these two hugely budgeted films coming out in the midst of an industry that is seeing a lot of change because of the type of films that the younger generation wants to go see. Like the younger generation doesn't care about Masters of the Universe. They don't necessarily care about a Spielberg movie because he doesn't have the Nolan cachet. I mean, Nolan and Villeneuve to some extent, but really Nolan, like he is the new Spielberg as far as name recognition. People want to go see every movie he does.
Yeah. And I know there's been some controversy with the Odyssey, but I will see how that actually matters in terms of the end of the day.
That movie's going to be dominate box office.
Especially when half of the controversy is just not true, but we don't need to
exactly.
get into that.
I mean, that's just people trying to pee in somebody else's pod, I guess. I mean, it's just silliness.
But Nolan built his brand with Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z.
Right, exactly.
And has become popular through all three of those generations. And you see that on sites like Letterboxd or IMDb, where his films are in the top 250s of those sites, a bunch of them. There's 8 films in the IMDb top 250, which is crazy.
And not that there is not a consistency to the quality of Spielberg's films, but with Nolan, there has been a consistency in the quality of his work. So you know what you're going to get, at least from the quality standpoint. Maybe it's not a story that connects with you. Like I like Tenet, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not one of my favorite of his.
No.
And same with Interstellar. I mean, not one of my favorite.
You can walk out of Tenet being like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a well-crafted story.
I like that Nolan tried to do something original, you know?
Yeah, no, totally. And look, Disclosure Day, completely original story, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, it is derivative of many things that many other filmmakers have done as far as storytelling is concerned. I mean, it's an alien story. And so it's not something new like Obsession, and necessarily not trying to compare the two films directly, but we're in a time where I think that the younger generation is latching on to more original storytelling than perhaps what they would consider nostalgia.
I think they latch on to what goes crazy viral on or catches you on the internet. I think that's really the reality. I think if we say originality, people are going to get too lost in that because they don't realize that Obsession just has a great hook.
Yeah.
Backrooms has a built-in fan base of people who want to go see a Backrooms movie.
Yeah.
Markiplier has a built-in fan base of people who want to go see a Markiplier film.
Yeah.
But Obsession, people don't know Curry Barker until this movie. Really, I didn't. And I'd seen his sketches before.
Yeah, I wasn't.
But it's the hook of the trailers that pulled me in, and I was like, oh, I'm intrigued.
That first trailer, just where it was just
he's sitting in the car,
on the phone. I was like that hooked me. I mean, it almost felt like, as far as the look of the film, it was a bit like It Follows. Mm-hmm. It just had that kind of that eerie look to it, sort of muted in the sense that a lot of it was using darkness in different ways as far as lighting its characters, backlight. I mean, It Follows very much uses that same type of thing, which I like. It Follows a lot. Not totally in love with the story of the film, but I do like that movie a lot.
They're putting out a sequel, I think, eventually.
They are. I don't know if they've started filming it yet, but
soon, I think
it's coming. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how The End of Oak Street does.
Yeah, David Robert Mitchell. Is that what his
David
name
Robert
is?
Mitchell. I've enjoyed the trailer to that. I mean, and the new trailer's good too. So I'm actually intrigued by that movie. Although the thing that I most dislike more than anything when it comes to Ewan McGregor is when he tries to do an American accent. I cannot pull it off. I mean, it's just always takes me out of it when he's trying to do that accent.
I hope they didn't spend too much on that movie, because I don't know that people are that intrigued by that.
Correct. Trailer. I don't think so either. But
I'm interested, but
I'm interested.
I don't think the average person is.
Dinosaurs are cool, but I think what people don't realize is only Jurassic World movies sell. And only Jurassic, you can't just say randomly, I'm going to throw dinosaurs in my movie that has nothing to do with the Jurassic Park franchise and hope people go see it. It usually doesn't work well. But we'll see. I mean, maybe it's one of Anne Hathaway's 25,000 movies this year that she's in.
Yeah.
She's in so many movies.
She got booked just for this year.
I know. It's like, I guess everything was held back. And so I don't know what the whole deal was, but Disclosure Day, I gave it 3 stars. I mean, it's not a bad movie, but it is an uninteresting movie, at least from my standpoint.
It's bordering on more 2.5 for me than 3.5. I one thing interesting I did find out about was apparently the research that Spielberg has done into And I think you've talked about this before, but the UFO community, UAP community, whatever. And he's got the Nixon scene with Jackie Gleason, which I did not realize was a real conspiracy theory.
That's a conspiracy theory, yeah.
That Nixon flew out Jackie Gleason to show him dead bodies of aliens. And
right, exactly.
There's all kinds of, apparently there's a bunch of that footage that's kind of based on real conspiracy theories. So obviously Roswell, but yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, and look, I mean, the whole this current administration that we have releasing whatever the heck they're releasing, I think it's frustrating to be releasing that type of information to the public in the AI generation, where you can't really know if what you're looking at is real, because of just how much AI stuff is on social media. So it's always difficult to tell if this is actually something that the government has released, or is this somebody doing AI, and it just, I don't know. It's all silliness, but I'm not into the UAP stuff, so I'm not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with the people that are, but I don't know. It just,
well, I did find a funny post on one of their subreddits or whatever, where it was like something to the effect of don't go see Spielberg's UFO thing. And I opened it up, and the guy was like, not because it gets anything wrong about aliens, but because it sucks.
Like, wow. See, I don't want to.
Well, it did. Sorry, it didn't say sucks, but it said boring. That's what it
said. But, and that's fair. I mean, it like I said, for me, it kind of lost me in the third act. I mean, I was digging some of the stuff that was going on. I think that I don't know how they did the train sequence, but I think it looked really great. Ironically, I think the CG stuff that we saw, and you've seen the trailer, so I can say, like, the animals, like, some of that stuff looked weak to me, like weak sauce CG. But I mean,
the house in the, but at least the house has like a quality where you're seeing a past memory. So
what's a dream? A memory or a dream sequence type situation. Yeah, exactly. And I thought some of the ideas of the technology that Colin Firth's character was using, I thought some of that was interesting, but I don't know. In the end, it just didn't have any heart to it in the end. Like, I know that they think it does, but to me,
he specifically thinks the ending has.
Oh yeah, no, you can obviously tell he thinks that, but it just,
which is why it goes on too long.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer, but at least speaking of heart, we've got Toy Story 5 to look forward to.
Yes.
And just early reactions have been great. So
I'm really excited about that one. Yeah.
No, look, I'm super excited. I hope that they continue to make them forever, in all honesty. Now, once some of the voice cast passes away, I don't want them to keep going. But I mean,
Andrew Stanton is a veteran, a great filmmaker for Pixar. So, and I know he's made some live action stuff that's not fantastic, but but he's made some great animated films in the past, and my understanding is he's made another one. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yep, I'm very excited for it. I'm trying to think if there's new characters in it. I think Conan O'Brien plays a new character. Obviously the lily pad, which is iPad's a new character. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. Also kind of interested just because it's Hugh Jackman, and I do like Robin Hood stuff. I plan on trying to see The Death of Robin Hood, but it's one of those alternate history, not that Robin Hood's real history, but it's like one of those alternate lore where he was a really bad guy, that type of thing. Whereas traditionally speaking, when you're seeing a Robin Hood story, it's more of a steal from the rich, give to the poor, more uplifting type of situation. This is your typical A24 dark take on a story that's been told before. Now, I do like Michael Sarnowski as a director. I think that Pig is really great. I think that Quiet Place Part 1 was pretty good. So I think he did
Day One.
Day One, Part 1, Day 1. Yeah, Day One. So look, I think that he's a talented director, so I am interested in seeing it for that reason as well, just because
it's unfortunately getting kind of mixed reviews. So
Yeah, and Hugh Jackman. Look, Sheep Detectives was so freaking good, and it just was. I loved. Did you ever get a chance to see it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said Obsession was a feel bad movie of the year or the summer, whichever. And
feel good.
Sheep Detectives was the feel good. So
and I think a lot of people ended up going to see that based on word of mouth as well. Now, it didn't have like Obsession numbers, but I think that movie did well enough.
It legged out okay.
It legged out okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think people
I don't know if it made its budget back, but I think it did okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I root for Hugh Jackman just because I like to see him do interesting things outside of like the X-Men universe. I mean, he can always fall back on that, but I think he's a really talented actor. So
how long can we fall back on that?
Oh, I think we know some things.
Is Doomsday and Secret Wars, are they going to bring the end of that universe? I mean, that's my question. But
we'll see. I think we might know, but we don't necessarily need to. I mean, I might know, but I don't necessarily want to. There's been rumors, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by. I've heard things here or there. I don't know that I really know, but
well, yeah, you're right. I mean, we don't
my Lord,
know, but
Marvel's got to plug the leak. Man, that is that's bad.
I haven't looked at any of that footage. I want to wait.
The audience doesn't know what we're necessarily talking about, I would hope, but
well, no, I mean the Doomsday trailer happened at CinemaCon, so I mean there is footage out there floating around.
That is not the trailer footage. That is undone. That is unfinished VFX house footage.
Oh, you're talking about what was it, CinemaCon, or what's out right now?
What's out? What came out last night?
Oh, floating around. Oh, that's horrible. That's See, I didn't click on anything because I didn't want to see it. That's too bad. You're right. They need to plug. But are they doing it on purpose?
That's coming out of a VFX house too.
Are they doing it on purpose though? I mean,
well, is it a person at the house or did someone hack in? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? That's too bad. I hate to. It's so hard to probably secure that stuff nowadays. But I don't know, because there was the Spider-Man trailer leak as well, which is not real. That I think is the studio leaking it early.
That is crazy. That's like so HD, it's ridiculous.
I think the studio just released it early, for whatever reason.
I don't know that Sony did, but they've got a bad problem too. I don't know. Well, here's the thing. It's whatever you can monetize and leak. That's what is going to get leaked, and Marvel's still monetizable, I guess, on leaks. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, no one's asking for leaks on the next Lars von Trier film or something.
You know what I would like leaks on is the new Uwe Boll film.
The Citizen Vigilante,
Vigilante, exactly.
Formerly titled Dark Knight.
Yeah, exactly.
Being played by Armie Hammer, who is almost Batman.
Ironic, isn't it? Although this is going to be like a hard R version of what a vigilante would be.
Yes, of course. It's
because it's Uwe Boll. So he does not pull punches when it comes to extreme violence.
Yeah. Better not give it a bad review or he'll want to box you. So
that's right. Yes, exactly. It's ridiculous. But I was looking at his filmography. I guess I've actually never seen an Uwe Boll film. I don't think I've ever seen.
I think you're better off.
I don't think I've seen any of them. Although I am kind of interested in this because it's Armie Hammer, but it is what it is. I don't know.
Where can people find you on social media?
Yes, I am mostly on our Discord, of course, which I know you'll tell us about soon. But I'm also floating around on X and obviously Letterboxd, more selfishly just to keep track of what movies I've watched. Because I'm old and I don't want to forget what I've watched. So I keep and that's where I honestly keep track of my collection. I probably should keep track someplace else, like on like a personal server or something. But that's
like an Excel sheet. Yeah,
like an Excel sheet. But I use Letterboxd to keep track of everything that I own. So when I'm out and about and I'm looking at a movie that I really want to buy, I can check Letterboxd to make sure I own it if I own it or not already. So.
I use Blu-ray.com for that, but
I probably should, but whatever.
You could find me at GRyfin3, GRYFUN3 on Twitter. You can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfin. You can find us at Cinema Debrief on Twitter and Instagram. You can email us at cinemadebriefpod@gmail.com if you want access to the Discord. The Discord has many channels. We got Pet Channel, Disney Channel. We've got a Comics Channel. We've got Melissa's Food for Thoughtcast channel called Chop, right? Is it
Chop Talk?
Channel? Yeah, Chop Talk. They're all talk. You got TV talk, video game talk, toy collector talk. There's a lot of different things you can get into there. A lot of different conversations happening. A lot of fun. We'd love to have you guys join us. We'll see you guys next week for House of Games and Toy Story 5.